Welcome back. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, I fixed the newly restored fuel pump onto its bracket and then mounted it back into the frame. Then I began the tedious task of threading the HT leads down through the frame before fixing the coil panel in place. I connected up the fuel pump to the loom and began to seat the rest of it loosely where it was going to go. Then I connected up all the electrics from the front end. Next up, I wanted to have another look in the carbs. It had been 6 years since I gave them a clean, and even though they'd been sat on a shelf for that time, I was doubting just how clean they'd actually be. I'd also not checked the emulsion tubes or stripped the jet holders, so it made sense to give them another once over. The jet holders came off easy enough, although the gaskets were well overdue replacing. I had to scrape what was left of them out of the channels. I checked the diaphragms and needles for all 4 carbs. They're all fine, though I still replaced the small O-rings as the old ones were pretty flat. I took the emulsion tubes out and checked them using the shank of a 3mm drill bit. There was quite a bit of slop, so I ordered a fresh set from NRP Carbs. Then I bagged the parts up, ready for a bath in the ultrasonic cleaner. I prefer to put the parts in small bags filled with cleaning solution. Not only does it mean I don't mix them up, but it also stops the dirt getting into the main tank. After one 20-minute bath, they weren't far off, so I put them back in for another before taking them back to the workbench. I was pretty happy with how they turned out, especially with the new emulsion tubes. Time for reassembly. I put fresh gaskets in between the jet holders and replaced any corroded screws. Now, in order to start the bike, I needed to put the end can on. Now this is still in need of a light restoration, so it will come off again later on for a clean up and fresh paint. The old carb rubbers were pretty cracked, so it made sense to swap these out for new ones. With a smear of rubber grease, I slipped them over the intake manifolds, then offered up the carbs for a test fit. Once I was happy, I tightened the clamps down and hooked up the throttle cables. I routed them over the bars just for now. The choke lever went on next. A quick test and all looks good. Finally, I connected up the fuel line and hooked up a fuel tank to the pump. Quick check for leaks, it's all good, so I flicked the ignition on to prime the pump. Just hearing that sound got me excited. I haven't started this bike up in 6 years. So excited in fact that I'd forgotten to give it a little choke. Well, it didn't go bang, though I did give it a thorough check over for leaks and strange noises. Fortunately, that smoke is just the oily residue burning off the head from when I did the valves. Once I was happy, I gave it a little throttle and it revved up nice and smoothly. Now, despite my facial expressions there, that was actually really exciting. Unfortunately though, a few days later, some ragamuffins broke into my garage and stole a bunch of my tools. They left the bike thankfully, but knowing they'd been in there and seen it made me very nervous they'd be back. So I decided to move the bikes into a safer place. Paul kindly kept them at his work for a month, which is one of the reasons I've not made much progress since firing it up. The other reason being that I've moved house. And do you know what it has? A garage! With lights and power and loft space. So now I have no excuse but to get cracking. Next up, I'll put the airbox and tank on, I'll balance the carbs, and then I'll move forward to the front end. Thanks for watching. See you soon.